Hello, everybody. Welcome to an earlier edition of Blind Press at Night. I apologize for the fan, but it's hot in my office. Anyway, so I've got the fan on as low a setting as possible so it's not stupidly loud. But hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you to the 2 new people who have followed me. Welcome, welcome. Today, we are continuing watching a documentary done by a creator called Swoop. She has a channel on YouTube. If you type in Swoop, you will see Petty University pop up. That is her. Give her a subscribe. She does a lot of hard work. She's a documentarian. She does short films and documentary style videos on true crime and social media influencers who abuse and use their platform and power. And this latest documentary that she has done is on Colleen Ballinger, aka Miranda Sings, and we looked at the first half last night. I have made sure that VOD is published, so if you've just followed, you can watch that video and catch up with everything later. But I will do a recap right now. I'm not just gonna hit play or anything. So in the first half of this documentary, we heard from a young man named Adam McIntyre. He was, when he first started watching Miranda content, 9. And when he started interacting with Miranda, aka Colleen, in actual messages, he was, I think it was 13, and he personally interacted with her in DMs and group chat situations for the next 4 years until he was 17. And not only did he interact with her, he did content work for her for free. Gave her ideas for the character of Miranda. Actually, at one point, got access to her to the Twitter account for Miranda Sings. Was given basically the promise of being a social media intern for Colleen, and possibly even a part-time job. Was supposed to do a meet and greet with her at one point, and ended up being abandoned by her in a city 5 hours away from where he lived. And his parents, because they had thought that he was meeting with her, had dropped him off at a specific location, and she was not there, and neither were his parents at this point. So he's 13, 14 years old. Or no, I'm sorry, it was 16. He was 16 years old at this point, and in a completely different city, disappointed by not being able to meet his idol, basically, and just abandoned by her. She sent him some underwear and a bra when he was 14, and then blamed him for asking for them. And when he gave her an idea for when Miranda Sings basically came out as a Meghan Trainor fan, that was his idea. She approved it, and she got a whole shit ton of hate for it, and then basically threw him under the bus and ghosted him. Between all of this and he made a video when he was, I think it was 17 years old, basically talking about everything I just talked about, and her fandom attacked him, threw him under the bus, He lost all his friends. And hello, hello, it's Ghost Dog, aka Sherlock Squirrel. Our channel rewards on, I can't use them anymore. Oh. Weird. You're back for the nightmares. I had to rest, yeah. Hey, Daniel Gaming Boy. Nice to have you here. You got my invitation. Oh, good. Weird. Why would the reward requests not be on? Let me see. The rewards should be on. How odd. Let me see. Chat. Where's my pressed platinum? There it is. Did it show? Maybe it's my tablet. Let me see. Yeah, yep, okay, yeah, I just tried it, so. Yeah, it works. It might be your tablet. Because I just got it to, now I have to hydrate. But I have a giant bottle of water, so that's fine. Anyway, so the first video that Adam put out, he was thrown under the bus. And this happened during the pandemic, so he basically lost everybody and had to start over. And then a video from a freaking 33-year-old super fan of Colleen's who decided not to be a super fan anymore. She just shared all sorts of screenshots of Colleen being sexual with Cody. That Cody didn't, not Cody, with Adam. Sorry, the adult's name is Cody. Adam is the victim. Cody released this video sharing all these screenshots of Colleen being incredibly inappropriate with Adam, without speaking to Adam. Hey, can I share your story? Any of that. She just released the video, forcing Adam, now 20, to release his own video with receipts and everything, and basically rehashing all of this stuff that he's tried to put behind him. Thankfully, him having done this, more and more other young people are reaching out to him, and people that were close with Colleen are now starting to come out of the woodwork and starting to apologize to Adam. And that is where we are leaving, or that's where we left off last night. It's a glitch in the mobile app. Yeah, the mobile app has been really weird lately. I don't understand. That's partly why I have to have Twitch open on my computer, is that the mobile app doesn't show me all of the chat messages. So I can't rely on my phone to show me everything anymore. So, yeah, that's frustrating. Remember, guys, to as many times as you guys share the stream, I found out that actually pushes my stream to the recommended tab on Twitch. So the more you guys post it on Twitter, share it on Discord, all that, whatever. It pushes me to the recommended tab, and it's free. So that's another way you guys can help me out if you don't have the ability to, if you don't have the funds to subscribe right now and you've already followed, you can share it out, and that will push the stream to more people on the recommended page. So, now that I've recapped everything and brought us all back to where we ended the first half of the first part of this 2 hour 50-minute documentary, we are now going to screen share, and so we can continue on with this. And I forgot to set my timer, so I'm an idiot. I started this at 6:50, so at 7:10 is the ad break. Oh, did we already have an ad break? Somebody please tell me. I can't believe I forgot to set the timer. Pardon? Okay, one coming. Okay. Set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes starting now.
Thank you. Okay. Screen share. Okay, here we go. And how is the fan at a good level? Not too loud? I don't want it to be overpowering my voice, so. And save. There we go. Perfect. And theater mode. Okay, here we go, guys. We are going to I've even backed it up a little bit. So here we go.
So as a 20-year-old, I'm going to defend my 17-year-old self. The conversations that you just witnessed throughout this entire video were all from Colleen, above the age of 30.
This is from Adam's. This is backed up a little bit. This is we played part of this is we played this last night. This is the ending of Adam's new video.
And me from the age of 13 to 16. Do you know how used that makes me feel? Like how little that makes me feel? How stupid that makes me, how much I'm doubting my intelligent growth. I feel stupid. I feel stupid that I allowed this to happen.
It is for all ages. There are jokes that kids will laugh at, and there are jokes that will go over the kids' heads and are.
So here's where this is new. Where we are right now, this is new.
Sexual innuendos,
All Adam can do, really, and the only advice I can have for that kid is take it as a learning experience.
Yeah.
That's really all you can do.
Yeah. It's not his fault. I wish I could give that kid a hug. I really do.
I want to take a quick moment regarding the allegations of grooming now that more of the story has been laid out. As y'all know with any Swoop doc, I like to briefly cover some of the warning signs of harmful behavior to better protect you, all of you watching, in case any of you or someone you know might be experiencing that type of abuse. So first a reminder.
This is another thing I like about Swoop is she doesn't just level allegations at people and dump the receipts on people. She also includes warning signs of abuse and stuff like that for her viewers and for other people so that they can maybe take some stock of their situation.
Reminder, grooming doesn't have to involve
The thing is, don't forget about her team. Her team consists of psychology degrees and people who actually work in those fields and experts and all that shit, right? Yeah. So she has a good research team and a good team to help her build these things.
Yeah, she does. And you can tell. She found a lot of good people, and she herself does a lot of hard work.
But it often does. Grooming can take place online or in person. It's usually employed by a family member or someone else in the victim's circle of trust, such as a coach, teacher, youth group leader, or others who naturally have some interaction with the victim, like Colleen. So let's look at some of the warning signs. Starting with victim selection. Abusers often observe possible victims and select them based on the ease of access to them or their perceived vulnerability.
That's why family members are more likely than not to be abusers. And I don't just mean groomers. I mean, like, in general, abusers. Because it's ease of access. It's right there. You don't have to go looking. They're literally right there.
Who could possibly be more easy to access for a powerful celebrity like Colleen and friends than her own fans who idolize her? Gaining access and isolating the victim. Abusers will attempt to physically or emotionally separate a victim from those protecting them and often seek out positions in which they have contact with minors. Trust and development and keeping secrets. We talked about that earlier, where the abuser pushes the victim to keep secrets, similar to how Colleen would share intimate details of her marriage and tell Adam not to tell anyone.
But then go and post all that shit on
or her joining group chats where parents were not involved. I mean, she created a position where she had contact with millions of minors through her content and honed in on a select few, making them feel very special and who...
And these group chats, like, they would have given out their contact info.
Blame them.
Like,
next, desensitization to touch and discussions of sexual topics. Abusers may also show the victim pornography or discuss sexual topics with them to introduce the idea of sexual contact. This is a big one. Again, by Colleen allegedly sharing increasingly intimate sexual details with Adam about her ex's private parts, asking Adam if he's a virgin and his favorite position, and commenting on his body, and also allegedly exposing him and others to pornography involving Trisha Paytas. Yeah.
Oh, God. No. Why her specifically? Jesus. What is wrong with you, woman? Why Trisha? Of all people. Why fucking Trisha?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Over time, she desensitized Adam to S-charged conversations where he, in his developing mind, thought it was normal and became comfortable with it. And if you think about it on a more global scale, in a way, she kind of allegedly mass-groomed millions of fans by making sexual innuendos a very known, intentional, targeted part of all of her content. Allegedly. Except not allegedly, because she said that. Remember that clip I played you earlier? Yeah.
I'm not too old to go to my show. One thing I take a lot of pride in with my live shows is that it is for all ages. Like, there are jokes that kids will laugh at, and there are jokes that will go over the kids' heads and are inappropriate, like sexual innuendos, like...
And finally, attempt by abusers to make their behavior seem natural to avoid raising suspicion. Now, I want to pause for a quick second to be fully transparent. As many of you who've been with me for a while know, I was groomed as a young teen by two men who were in their 30s, which led me to being R-worded and repeatedly SA'd for years. I was targeted by a man who worked in the school district I was in as a kid. I was isolated from my family by being told they would disown me if I ever told them what was happening, and I was desensitized to sex with movies and music that he would give to me, which led him to R-wording me.
I wonder if this is why I had the dream I had last night. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know what? I hate having to censor these words. It just makes it sound so minimal.
It does.
He raped me. There. I said it.
Yeah.
YouTube, leave me alone.
Yeah,
this led to years of clinical depression, arrested mental development, and debilitating mental self-harm that I'm only now starting to process. Now, I share this not...
The mental self-harm. You are worthless and bullshit and nothing. Oh, yeah. I Right there with you, Swoop.
To make this story about me, but to give some context from lived experience that with everything I have survived, I know how abusers work. I know the nuances of grooming when I see it. I see it throughout this story, and make no mistake, while the stories of these victims thankfully didn't escalate to a physical level the way that mine did, the trauma of any type of grooming can feel just as overwhelming to a developing mind.
It's confusing as fuck. Like, it's very confusing.
Period. If any of you have lived through grooming, I want you to remember one single thing. It is not...
Okay. Reset timer for 30 minutes.
There's already a 10-minute timer. Replace it.
Yes.
Half an hour, starting now.
6 ads, huh? Okay. Let's see. Let's take this time to catch up on chat. Let's see.
But it's money, so I'm not going to say bad things.
It was, yeah. My day seems blessed, though. You know what? It was... gives me the ick. Yeah. I don't know that person. Should I be happy about that? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let's go. We're back. Okay. Let's back Swoop up a little bit. Oh! We have a blip. Un blip. Do. Activity feed. Oh! Thank you for the follow. What's the... How do I pronounce that? Amarth 91? Thank you. Mr. Earth? I don't know. Something. Thank you for the follow. New person. Welcome.
Developing mind. Period. If any of you have lived through grooming, I want you to remember one single thing. It is not your fault.
Nope.
I know trying to navigate the feelings you have can be confusing and scary and make you feel stupid or like no one sees you, but I promise you, I see you. You did nothing wrong. It is not your fault.
God damn you,
fault
Swoop.
will forever be the burden of your abuser. You do not have to carry this any longer, and you can find healing because that's what you deserve. You are valid, you are worthy, you are brave, and you are stronger than anyone who tried to steal your worth from you. Please trust me when I say you will get through this. I know you feel lost in the darkness and alone and struggle to see an end to the pain, but the very fact that you're here, that you have survived, is proof that you are stronger than you ever realized, and you will get through this, period. I believe in you, and it's time you do too. Now,
oh man, I guess don't say that. That's horrible.
with all of that in mind, I think it's important to segue into a thought that, in my opinion, paints every single interaction Colleen Ballinger has had with her fans in the clearest of brushstrokes. I'm talking about something called narcissistic grooming, which adds another layer to this story. And for this, I want to give a shout out to Manya Wakefield, who published an article on
Narcissists are
Media.
just special types of evil, aren't they?
to this story. And for this, I want to give a shout out to Manya Wakefield, who published an article on Medium titled 5 Tactics Narcissists Use to Groom Their Targets that embody, almost to a scary degree, what Adam went through, and I will highlight a few.
Good for, like, see, this is, her research is just impeccable here, and I really hope, like, I hope that she doesn't mind that I'm watching this. I know, right? Oh, it's Marth, like Ahmed and Marth. Okay, I got it. Yeah, no, it's her amount of research is impeccable, and like for her, like having gone through this too, like this must have been a really difficult one for her to make. So, like I hope that she's okay with me watching this on my stream, providing my 2 cents, and like holy crap, way to go, like yeah.
Now, sidebar, of course, in the discussion of narcissism, because I think it's always important to make this distinction, that is not a word to just be thrown around casually as someone you don't like. No. And I am talking about people who exhibit negative traits of narcissism. If someone has been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, that does not mean that they are going to do these types of terrible things, okay? That doesn't make them a bad person.
No, not everybody with narcissistic personality disorder is like a straight out sociopath that's going to like abuse the crap out of you and groom you. Like, yes, narcissism is a very bad personality disorder, but that's like saying everybody with borderline personality is like psycho. You know, like, yeah, they have really hard times dealing with separation and whatever, but not everybody with borderline is crazy fucking, you know, banana crazy.
That's important to note. Right now, we're going to talk about the negative side of things. Now, first, I want to define a term for something Adam clearly experienced: love bombing. According to Health.com, love bombing is a type of emotional abuse where someone uses grand gestures to manipulate another person. They may bomb you with gifts, compliments, and affection, but these actions are not done out of kindness.
And then
instead,
the minute you fuck up, it gets all taken away from you immediately.
Love bombing is used to make a friend, partner, or loved one dependent on them so they can control the relationship. We see this in everything from the access to Colleen's life to confiding in him about her divorce and praising the thin parts of his body, and access to her Twitter, the promise of a big day in Dublin, to the times that Adam got to act in her stage show. All of this was in return for Adam doing something for Colleen under the guise of alleged friendship. So now...
Yeah. This is... The more I watch this, I understand why I had... Yeah.
Out to the list. First up is mirroring. Manya writes, during the love bombing phase in the early part of the narcissistic abuse cycle, the abuser quietly mimics the traits and behavior of the target. They claim to share all of the same interests and ideologies. Narcissists basically impersonate the target by mirroring them. The narcissist's goal is to manipulate the target into identifying and developing an affinity with them. We see this with a lot of Colleen's direct interactions with Adam and the inappropriate texts she sent him in the Weenies chat. Adam, a minor, is texting about something juvenile, like messages about a dildo shop, and Colleen responds accordingly, directly acknowledging whatever Adam is saying and feeding into it, continuing the grooming to normalize him talking like that.
This is really creepy, because the more I'm watching this, the more I'm realizing that somebody that was in my family was doing this shit to me, and it's really creeping me out. He's not with us anymore. But it's really disturbing.
Number 2 on the list, data mining. Quote, during the grooming phase of the relationship, the narcissist will feign an intense interest in the target and ask seemingly endless series of questions. The questions start off as casual and gradually shift into deeper personal inquiries. In many of the screenshots shared here, Colleen doesn't directly ask Adam many personal questions, but she does ask a lot of questions about her ex, Josh. Colleen quite literally uses Adam to mine for data on her own ex-husband.
She wanted him to be her little errand boy. And keep in mind, when she got divorced, this was covered in last night's part of the documentary, his 14th birthday was spent basically comforting a 30-something-year-old woman because the divorce papers came through. That's fucked up. Even if your parents are getting divorced, that's not your job as a child to sit there and comfort the adult in your life because their relationship failed. Any day of the year, especially your birthday.
Let's skip to number 4, the false self. Once the narcissist has acquired sufficient data from the target, they create a false self that is the embodiment of the target's fantasy partner. The narcissist plays the role of the target's soulmate. They are the target's dream come true. In Adam's case, the grooming doesn't have SA as the end goal, and it doesn't have to. Grooming can be sexual, romantic, financial, or for criminal purposes. The key to grooming is a power dynamic within the relationship. Age, gender, physical strength, economic status, or another factor. Now, this is where we see the false self fully apply in Adam's case, because she's presenting herself as an approachable friend while very clearly using Adam for more allegedly nefarious purposes.
Whenever we would have inappropriate conversations, or whenever, even in the moment, I would be like, ooh, like, you know,
that's weird.
I would just kind of look at it like, oh, she's like my cool friend. You know what I mean? I knew in the moment she was closer in age to my mother, but I was like, oh, she's like my cool friend. Like,
oh my God, I know exactly what he's saying. I know exactly what he's saying here, because I had the same feelings towards this family member. It was like, he's older than my mom, but like, he's cool and he gets me, and mom doesn't have to know, and Jesus Christ.
And the not having boundaries was kind of like an exciting thing of like, oh, she can talk to me about anything and I can talk to her about anything. And I mean, that's just wildly inappropriate.
Which leads to the narcissistic grooming trait most obviously used in Colleen's interactions with him. Number 5, future faking. Quote, future faking is another grooming tactic in the narcissist's arsenal. They echo the target's goals and pretend they want all the same things in life as the target. The biggest red flag of all in the early stages of a relationship with a narcissist is they're too good to be true. The narcissists may glitter, but they are not gold. Colleen promises a future for Adam where he gets to work for his hero. She promised a fun
the part-time job
trip to Dublin for them to hang out, a future of a very one-sided friendship that Adam could not have seen given his age.
I completely idolized these people and loved them in a way that I can't even explain very well. I was just over the moon about them.
Did y'all watch the Illuminati documentary that I did a few weeks ago? Yeah. There is a section in there where it talked about how following that story in real time was overwhelming because there was seemingly no bottom to the storm of sheer decay in Blair Zahn's past.
And then this happened, right, Swoop?
This story is even worse because I don't think anybody was anticipating not only the volume of allegations against Colleen Ballinger, but the entire Ballinger brand and family. Now,
yeah, this is a family thing. Like, this group chat, like with the kids and everything, this group chat didn't just include Colleen. It included Colleen and her sister-in-law and her best friend and her brother. And minors. And a partridge in a pear tree. That's so gross. It is. Colleen is a controlling... Oh, your tablet is yelling at you to restart. It's heavy stuff, yep. Sometimes on this channel, we get a little bit heavy, but we still try to have fun. This shit is sometimes we gotta cover the heavy shit. Sometimes the heavy shit kind of opens doors that we really wish it wouldn't open. But hey, sometimes it has to happen.
Now, this is the part of the story where time stops existing, and I have to break each of these next few parts down by specific controversies. And we'll start with one that, if you only really follow mainstream media reports on Colleen Ballinger, is probably the one you've heard about and more than likely heard about incorrectly. I'm talking about Becky.
I didn't hear any mainstream things about this. Maybe because I haven't watched cable in years.
You know, when people come forward with their trauma, we should never immediately shame them. We should always try to listen to them and understand where they're coming from.
I would like to start this segment off with a very quick you to TMZ for their shamelessly irresponsible coverage of this. Statistically speaking,
TMZ shamelessly irresponsible? Never! No, come on! They would never be irresponsible.
For their shamelessly irresponsible coverage of this. Statistically speaking, it's incredibly likely that at least like one of you said, oh shit, Swoop did a video about the teen fart controversy, wonder why, and clicked on my doc and had your expectations obliterated. All because of TMZ's flippant coverage on something much more severe than it framed the situation as. Apparently TMZ couldn't do the bare minimum of not only research, but professional and personal decency for someone who was underage before hitting send. And
well, you know, this is the same company who bought wholesale Amber Heard's abuse video, divorce picture, bullshit. So, you know, take that for what you will.
I'm not even being petty. I am being real. The f*** is wrong with you, TMZ? Anyways, this is the story of a girl named Becky who has summarized her story both on TikTok and Twitter. But I wanted to check in and see how she was doing and got an interview with her over video clips. Now, it's important for me to mention, Becky is the type of person who believes that cats are operating on a wavelength beyond human comprehension, and honestly, yes, Becky, yes. Say, okay, I agree, which means that Becky is good people, okay? Great people, in fact.
Becky believes that cats.
My name is Becky. I'm 21 years old. I first discovered Miranda Sings when I was about 12 years old. When
she's not, because their brain is... Don't they operate on what's it called? Alpha waves?
Cat's brains? Of my other favorite YouTubers, such as Joey Graceffa and Shane Dawson. I watched Miranda on and off throughout middle school, and I would say I became more of a fan of Colleen when I was about 14. I really liked how Colleen would connect with her fans on a more personal level because it made watching the YouTube videos, you know, feel more real and more personal and more fun to watch.
So this would have been when she kind of retired the Miranda Sings thing and went to the Colleen vlogs.
I flew across the country twice to see Colleen and her family at VidCon. And what drew me to them was just the feeling that they liked me. Being in the Twitter fandom meant that, you know, you would occasionally interact with Colleen or Rachel or any of the Ballingers, so I felt so connected to them almost.
So her sister, too. Rachel's her sister. So we've got Colleen, her sister-in-law, her brother, her best friend, and her editor. All of them over 30, okay, interacting with teenagers. And I mean, like, not 18-year-old teenagers. I mean, like, just became teenagers.
Almost personally, that I wanted to go to far places.
I didn't want to hang out with teenagers when I was one. Why the fuck do adults want to hang out with teenagers?
I completely idolized these people and loved them in a way that I can't even explain very well. I was just over the moon about them. And thinking about that now kind of makes me sad for my younger self, I think, that I was so in love with this family that didn't really know me and didn't really care about me. And really just wanted to profit off of me.
Now, Becky first wrote about her experience in a Twitter thread on June 6, 2023, saying the following, quote, "When I got called up on stage at one show and did the yoga challenge with her, there's no excuse for her not stopping it once she realized I was wearing a short romper and had to spread my legs to the point that you could see the spandex under them while thousands of people watched. I joked about it when it first happened because I didn't want people thinking I was ungrateful for getting to go on stage, but I
was checking chat. I'm gonna back that up really quick.
2023, saying the following, quote, "When I got called up on stage at one show and did the yoga challenge with her, there's no excuse for her not stopping it once she realized I was wearing a short romper and had to spread my legs to the point that you could see the spandex under them while thousands of people watched. I joked about it when it first happened because I didn't want people thinking I was ungrateful for getting to go on stage, but I had nightmares from the day it happened. Her face looking down at me while my clothes were falling down is still ingrained in my head."
That's not... Ew, that's horrifying. Like, again, I am by no means a prude, but Jesus Christ, that is not okay. And for, like, I said this last night, for an adult to do this to any minor child is not okay, but if you are a female and you're doing this to another female, that's just on an extra level of just, wow. Why?
The humiliation from that still gets to me sometimes. I felt exposed in front of an audience that held family, friends, and classmates. When I left the show to walk to our car, men stared at me and my body in ways they weren't looking at me before. I've struggled with talking about this for so long because I don't really know what to classify it as, but I know it wasn't okay.
I would call that as sexual assault. That's what I would call it.
I was a minor and was literally put on display, and intentional or not, I fulfilled some random men's sexual fantasies. For so long, I felt like I couldn't say anything because I volunteered to go on stage, but I simply forgot what I was wearing when I did.
Just because you volunteered to go on stage does not mean you deserved any of what happened to you, regardless of what you were wearing. Because, again, you were the minor and she was the adult, and she should have been like, "Oh, honey, it's, we're doing the yoga challenge and your outfit's not like," and she didn't even have to say it out loud. She could have just like whispered it in your ear. She could have been like, "Oh, sweetie, your outfit. It's like we're doing the yoga challenge. This really isn't the best outfit for your yoga challenge. Maybe we can have you do something else." Like, it would have taken fucking 5 seconds. 5 seconds of a side stage ear whisper, and this could have never happened.
This thread is kind of all over the place, and I'm literally shaking as I write this. This is something I never thought I would talk about on here, but everyone else sharing their stories has encouraged me. Again, I don't really know how to talk about this, but as a woman who has been SA'd in the past, this whole experience gave me that same sickening, disgusting feeling that you want to purge from inside out. It breaks my heart that Colleen's hold over all of us was so strong that I felt I couldn't talk about this for so long. At the end of the day, I just wish someone had stepped in. Security, Corey, anyone. It's taken me years to accept that what happened wasn't okay.
Anybody, even if it hadn't been, it should have been Colleen, but anybody in that adult group should have like, "Oh, Becky, sweetie, we're doing the yoga challenge. That's like your romper's really short. We'll have you do something else on stage in a couple minutes, but this isn't just anything."
But I'm old enough now to understand it wasn't my fault. I was a minor, and Colleen did not protect me or my safety, and that's that. Yeah. Some powerful words. Later on, June 9th, she posted the clip of her experience to Twitter.
Oh my God, she posted. Wow. She is brave. She is brave. Holy fuck, she actually posted it.
June 9th, she posted the clip of her experience to Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Now, Becky's story received even more attention when she explained the story again in a viral TikTok, which explained quite clearly that Becky was only 16 when this happened. The TikTok now has over 1 million likes and like over 10 million I stopped counting, which led to her story being shared in Newsweek, Passion Fruit, Rolling Stone, Time Magazine, and yes, TMZ. But instead of sharing what I think about all of this, I wanted to do something a little different. So I reached out to Becky, and I'll let her words to me speak for her.
And I really like that Swoop did this, because she did this with Adam McIntyre as well. She interviewed him, and she actually put in his words in their call. And so this is another really good point about the kind of documentarian that Swoop is. She doesn't just, like some filmographers and documentarians do, they have the person say their piece, right? And they script it out from the video, and then they just, so-and-so said that this was the most horrendous thing that happened to them ever. But, like, no, Swoop doesn't do that shit. She's like, here, this person will say it for themselves.
Reached out to Becky, and I'll let her words to me speak for her.
After I made the TikTok video about my experience on stage with Colleen, I got a lot of hateful comments that were blaming me and, saying you dressed inappropriately on purpose. You could have gotten off stage at any moment.
How are you supposed to, what, are you supposed to get up on stage and just be like, oops, and then walk off stage again? Yeah, okay.
And those comments were extremely hurtful. It took me about 2 years to fully come to terms with what happened on stage and to feel violated by someone that I trusted so much. So to see so many comments, kind of bringing back those questioning thoughts that I had at first has been really hard for me.
Yeah.
It's really hard in general to unpack your trauma and then come forward with it and then have people question your trauma, and then you kind of unravel the trauma again and go through the whole cycle. When people come forward with their trauma, we should never immediately shame them. We should always try to listen to them. And, if you're leaving those hurtful comments, you're clearly not doing that, and I think that's just something that you need to reevaluate and work on with yourself.
Becky, I just want to say you're incredibly brave. Not just for coming forward and sharing part of your story about the truly horrifying experience you had on stage at the hands of Colleen, but for your words on trauma and acceptance. I think it's important for people to realize that you did not have to share your story, but you chose to, and that is so, so powerful. What happened to you was wrong, period.
Yep.
It was not your fault. Not at all.
None of any of what happened to any of these people is their fault. Like, you don't, this is the thing. Everybody sits there and, like, even with the Till Lindemann stuff, right? I'm not going to sit there and say that the women are outright lying, right? Because we don't know. We know that Till is a very sexual guy. We know that he has parties separate from Rammstein. But, like, we haven't had, like, and we also know that the police are investigating. We also know that there's been a lot of false allegations in the past few years. So I'm not going to out and out go, oh, those poor women, but I'm also not going to go, oh, those lying women. You know what I mean? Because you don't, like, you don't know. You really don't know. And you can't make a proclamation either way unless you have actual receipts, which we have here.
Colleen fostered an environment where young people were encouraged to wear certain clothing to get rewarded on stage with their idol. It was by design, by the adults, and it was wrong. And for what happened to you, it doesn't matter what you were wearing. It doesn't matter if you forgot or not. That's not your fault.
No. And the fact that there are, let's see, Colleen, Rachel, Chris, her brother, Robin, her editor, or not Robin, who's her editor? I can't remember. Jessica, I think, her editor, and Corey, her friend. That's 5 adults. That is 5 people that could and should have done something to protect each and every one of these kids.
You did not ask to be put in that vulnerable and terribly exposing position. Colleen put you there, and she didn't protect you, and that's on her and her team, not you.
Nope.
She was the adult, you were not. It was her choice, and with the full force of her powerful position and the cheering crowd and the spotlight on you, coercing you to do as you were told, which, let's be real, every other teen would have done the same, whether they want to hide behind their keyboards and pretend they wouldn't or not.
Absolutely they would have. Anybody in the right mind, like in even the most anti-establishment of anti-establishment people, if their one idol was like, hey, do this thing for me, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. It's just gonna happen.
She abused her power and influence and took advantage of you while it was being filmed for the world to see. It is not your fault. It never was. And I wish you nothing but healing and strength. And you are exuding so much strength and grace. Thank you for sharing.
And then I decided to join the Twitter fandom to mostly support Colleen, but I also met other people who also supported Colleen, which was really nice.
Somebody else that I spoke to was Alex, who came forward on Twitter and Reddit around the same time as Becky to discuss their experience in the Colleen fandom as well. Alex has told this story a few times, spread across many different social medias, but I managed to ask them about their story.
It's ad break time. It's ad break time. Let's quickly also check chat. That is why a lot of people don't talk about stories. People are quick to victim blame / shame. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's do a quick ad break. Oh, we've already run an ad break. Okay. Let's quickly play some music because I need to quickly go to the bathroom because of the water that I've been drinking. I'm a minute late for my ads. I'm trying, guys. Okay. Where's my volume? Where's my volume so I don't blow your guys' ears? Okay. I'll be right back, you guys. Let me just switch the screen and mute the microphone. Okay, I am just I'll switch the screen in a second. I just have to send a quick message. There I am. Okay. Sorry, I just had to send a message. Okay. Back to the correct screen. Get back into here. Back over to the documentary window. And we're also going to quickly go and check on chat before we resume the video. Okay. What is chat saying? Chat. Oh, okay. We've caught up. We are still caught up. Okay. Now, back to the documentary. We're going to learn about Alex now. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark, so we've got 50 minutes left.
Story
here, guys.
over voice memos. Now, their initial tweets share this picture as well as the following message. I guess I met her 5 years ago. Corey behind the camera told me to bend down because Colleen had put her arms around my neck and I was too big. And before the show, Corey quote tweeted me being excited, mocking me, and got the whole fandom to do the same.
Ew.
For reference, Colleen is 5'6" and I'm 6'1". What you don't see here is I was suffering badly from an autoimmune disease and on steroids, etc. Having been formally diagnosed with 3 autoimmune diseases last year that I've been suffering with for 10 years.
So they're disabled. They have autoimmune disease. They're like really tall. I wonder if they have gigantism. Anyway, they're really tall. Colleen's my height, and they're mocking this kid?
This woman is the reason I've had body issues for years. I idolized her and knew she didn't approve of my body. She condoned Corey saying this as if he was right and didn't say a word other than nodding at him. I never thought I'd have it in me to share this. The fact that I brushed it off and felt grateful for this experience because she was my idol. I've been struggling with body images and eating ever since this stuff resurfaced. I'm not doing great mentally, but I love y'all so much. For context, as many of you know, for me to speak on this, I also live with chronic illness and a spine and shoulder injury and fibromyalgia, which is why Alex's story really spoke to me personally, and I wanted to share it. But there's a specific part of Alex's story that
really, like, that would be like, you know, meeting one of my favorite rockers and them being like, oh, you know, you can have a picture with us, but we don't want your cane there because we don't want our fans to know that we took a picture with a blind person. Like, what the fuck?
That feels like it could get lost in the sea of other more easily understandable allegations being made that made me want to hear more from them. So that's why I reached out.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm 23 years old, and my pronouns are they, them. Just for some context here, when I was 12 years old, I developed a lot of illness. It was undiagnosed at the time. I was in and out of hospital a lot. I missed a lot of school. And that was kind of when I started watching YouTubers such as Colleen. And at the time, I would have been the age of 12 when I first started watching Colleen. And then I decided to join the Twitter fandom to mostly support Colleen, but I also met other people who also supported Colleen, which was really nice.
A lot of Alex's story involves their fandom growing as they went in and out of the hospital, expressing that Colleen basically kept their head above water. Aww. Eventually, Alex became comfortable enough to reach out to Colleen and members of her fandom over Twitter, even feeling comfortable enough to confide their personal feelings and problems in their life to Colleen.
So they love bombed this person. They made them feel like they were special and, oh, well, you're sick, but, we're still here for you and we're, we love you.
This relationship with Colleen, again, not parasocial anymore, it's a relationship, got them added to another private group chat with Colleen, Corey, and other fans, though not the Weenies group chat. So much of the story sounds very similar to stories we've already heard from Adam, and we'll hear soon from others. A group chat with Colleen Ballinger and a bunch of minors where she talks about things that are too damn personal to talk about.
How many minor-filled group chats does this woman need? What the fuck is wrong with you?
To them.
Oh my God.
But this was the reality for Alex, and Alex didn't question it, because why would they? In their eyes, this was their friend, Colleen, not the weird 30-year-old sharing too much, once again, about her divorce. And this is what set the stage for Alex to head to the Colleen Ballinger show that night with the hopes of getting to meet their idol, because of course, why wouldn't something like that make you feel better, especially given what they were going through health-wise?
Right.
So I went along by myself to the meet and greet. The Q&A was, just standard, and then we all lined up to meet Colleen. She was on stage, and Corey was behind a camera taking the pictures, and then Eric was a few feet away from Colleen, like behind her, so you could meet him afterwards. So I went up to Colleen and I told her how much she meant to me, and she was smiling and being nice and things like, just, kind of acknowledging what I was saying.
Yeah.
And then it came to the pictures, and, Corey didn't seem too bothered. Like, I think he just seemed a bit, on edge at that time. We did the first pose, which was holding hands, and then we went to do, the classic hug pose, and Corey said to me, very abruptly and rudely, you're too big for the hug pose. Colleen can't get her arms around you.
Oh my God, that's horrible. Why would you say that to somebody? Even if the person can't get their full arms around you, you can still move. As a photographer, you can move to another angle and still capture a hug. What the fuck is the matter with you, you lazy asshole? Move your camera. You're too big. Back up! I'm blind and I know this. Jesus Christ, man.
And at that time it was
what the hell
to hear, because I was already struggling with my weight and, my body image, and I was 17 years old, and, in that moment, I looked over to Colleen, hoping that, she would say something to Corey about this, but, she didn't. So instead of reassurance from Colleen, I got her looking at Corey.
This is one kink that should be shamed. What?
This was, the most normal thing in the world to tell a 17-year-old. And I remember just feeling so embarrassed.
I'm confused. What is one kink that should be shamed?
Lined up behind me for the meet and greet, and I just felt awful. My weight and, my body image, and I was 17 years old, and, in that moment I looked over to Colleen, hoping that, she would say something to Corey about this, but, she didn't. So instead of reassurance from Colleen, I got
nothing.
Her looking at Corey and nodding to him approvingly, as if this was the most normal thing in the world to tell a 17-year-old. And I remember just feeling so embarrassed, because there was a huge queue of people lined up behind me for the meet and greet.
And they saw everything, I bet. And heard everything.
The truth is, this is clear evidence of how completely shitty Corey DeSoto is as a person. He's sitting there and weight-shaming one of Colleen's fans. But what's more disturbing is that not only did Corey get away with it, Colleen didn't seem to care at all about how how blatantly Corey disrespected somebody.
This is supposed to be her best friend from college, okay? And like, I'm sorry, but where I come from, when I do something really shitty, or my best friend does something really shitty, you know what we do to each other? We do this magical thing called, hey, that was really shitty. Don't do that. You're better than that. That's what a good friend does. A good friend doesn't let their friend be a shithead. That's just how it works.
Again, Alex thought was their friend. Alex confided in Colleen. Colleen would write them back. That sounds like a friendship if you ignore the power dynamic. So why would Colleen treat a friend this way? And it gets even worse.
Because there are just some people, power dynamic or no, that are just awful, awful human beings. And for some reason, those people seem to have huge friend groups. And they treat all of their friends like absolute trash. And then the people who would bend over backwards for any friend that they had get treated like utter garbage. Until they're like, well, you know what? I'm just not going to be friends with anybody anymore.
Worse from there.
You know, I tried to brush it off at the time because she was my idol, and, you know, I kind of came to the realization that my idol thinks that
you're fat.
Too fat, and, you know, she kind of condoned that at the time.
Yeah.
So it came,
that's horrible.
Like, up to the time near when the show was starting, so the meet and greets happened 3 hours prior to the show. So as I was in line to get my seat for the show, I was tweeting Colleen and, you know, saying how excited I was, like, for the show and everything, because I was just trying to ignore what happened.
Right.
And then Corey quote tweeted my tweet to Colleen and called me a squeent, which at the time Colleen had called her fans squeents. That kind of meant basically a fan who's, you know, a diehard fan who's too annoying and just, you know, too into the whole thing.
Wait. I'm sorry. Back that up?
Which I was just trying to ignore what happened, and then Corey quote tweeted my tweet to Colleen and called me a squeent, which at the time Colleen had called her fans squeents. That kind of meant basically a fan who's, you know, a diehard fan who's too annoying and just, you know, too into the whole thing.
I'm sorry. If you have any kind of... Unless your fans are doing illegal things to you, you do not shame their level of fandom for you. Because whether you have a diehard fan or a sometimes viewer, all of them help you get somewhere as a creator. You have no business as a creator shitting on the people that get you to the point where you can have these shows. Because it's because of those people that you have the ability to book a brick and mortar venue. You absolute piece of human refuse.
So Corey quote tweeted, and then a lot of people in the fan base would bully me for that tweet, because there was this kind of thing in the fan base where
where we all hate on the people who really like our idol, because God forbid they like them more than I do, because for some reason these freaking morons have to create a competition on who likes them more, because they're that insecure about themselves. They can't just have content to, like, showcase the type of person they are and, you know, build a genuine community around that shit. No. Let's create a competition to see who can like me the most, and then we'll mock the people that actually really, really do love me, because they're annoying, don't you know?
Do anything
for
Corey or Colleen. so they just bullied me a lot, and at the time I was 17. But it also continued on for months afterwards, where, you know, he would quote tweet my tweets to Colleen, like mocking me, and it was pretty well known that he didn't like me. But the way the fans at the time worked was everyone idolized Colleen and Corey so much that they'd do anything for them. So
that is so he's just for no reason. He's just decided that this one Irish teenager is like persona non grata. And everyone's like, okay, Corey DeSoto says jump, so we're all going to say, how high, sir?
So if they were mocking someone, everyone would join in.
Jesus.
And, you know, I guess in a way it was Corey and Colleen abusing the power and control that they had as
this is
influencers.
Pathetic and
knowing that we were all, you know, we were kids and minors, and, you know, they took advantage of that, really.
So as a result of Alex being upset, they were met with bullying directly led by Corey DeSoto and ignored by Colleen, which is awful. This actually put Alex down a fairly troubling road that ended up putting them in therapy. I can't stress enough how serious these types of things can impact people.
Gaslit myself into thinking that, you know, it was a
Real quick, we're doing a 1-minute ad break because it just popped up, so I'm gonna run a 1-minute ad break and then I'm gonna reset the timer. So let's do that. I'm just gonna do a quick be right back screen because I try not to like vape on camera. And this shit, it's too heavy for drinking. I try really hard not to drink if I know that something's gonna upset me. So we're not drinking right now. we're just vaping. Okay. Set timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes starting now.
Okay. Here we go. Now we're going to pop back over. And we're going to resume our viewing.
These types of things can impact people.
Gaslit myself into thinking that, you know, it was a normal thing for Corey to say that to me and Colleen to condone it, and that, like, you know, I should work on losing weight, and that my body, you know, I was too fat.
Wait, what did he say there?
Types of things can impact them in therapy. I can't stress enough how serious these types of things can impact people.
Gaslit myself into thinking that, you know, it was a normal thing for Corey to say that to me and Colleen to condone it, and that, like, you know, I should work on losing weight, and that my body, you know, I was too fat and ugly, and it led to a lot of body image issues. It was definitely something that, you know, after it happened, I thought about it a lot, but I was too scared to tell anyone because I felt like I should be grateful for meeting my idol
and that's the thing, because you, like, even if they're a crazy large YouTuber or even like a Hollywood celebrity or a musician, if you meet them and they treat you like utter garbage, you have this feeling where it's like, do I say something? Because I at least got to meet them, right? How many people can say that, you know? And it's that thing where you talk yourself out of calling them out because, well, you know, I'm not famous. I didn't, you know, do something to get famous, and they did. So, you know, I should be grateful even if they were horrible to me. And it's like, no, just because they've got more power than you doesn't mean they have the right to be an asshole.
Meeting a YouTuber when so many people couldn't meet her and things like that. So it was something that I kept to myself for,
that's really
almost
sad.
A year. And when I did tell my family about the experience, they kind of, said to me, this isn't normal, and that was awful for you to go through. I have since addressed body issues and body image issues in therapy, and, I realized that this has affected me more than I thought it did. That my idol thinks that I'm fat, and I think what damaged...
Now, this was all further exacerbated by none other than Colleen's own content, which, unlike the Miranda Sings content, is a much more, conversational vlog-style channel. Yes. On this channel, Colleen would share details about her life, her health, her pregnancy, and so on, but
this is where, on Monday, we're going to rewatch her allowing Molly Burke to, quote, babysit Flynn.
Alex the wrong way was this.
I think what damaged me even more was seeing her videos afterwards where she would say things like, I'm so fat and I'm so ugly and I look horrible, and she would sort of be body checking sometimes in some of her videos, and then after she'd say all that, she'd say, but all bodies are beautiful, and everyone should love their body, and it just felt like a slap in the face to me.
No shit.
Looking back on the entire situation now as a 23-year-old, Alex is well aware of where their trauma came from and just how wildly inappropriate the entire Colleen situation was.
I was 16 or 17 when she would do that, and yeah, looking back on it, it definitely does not feel appropriate.
It's not.
If you asked me
it's absolutely
years ago if I thought I had a friendship with Colleen, I would say yes. If you ask me now, I would say it was definitely a perceived friendship on my end, and I felt like she, abused the power that she had as, an influencer.
Absolutely.
And knowing that she had a lot of fans who were minors and very impressionable.
And Alex, I just want to say again, you are such a beautiful human deserving of nothing but love, support, and healing. Thank you so much for sharing part of your story with us. It truly broke my heart listening really to your words, but I believe that your
Swoop has been really kind in this, which is also
words will help so many of us fighting chronic illness to feel more seen. You are so immensely brave, so valuable in this world, and I hope that through all of this you're able to see how brave you are, and I wish you healing on your journey.
Bethany is desperate to have anyone care about her, and so she's constantly making up these ailments to try to get someone to care about her, and still no one does.
It's on that note that I feel I should shift gears into somebody else whose story came to the forefront by the name of Ella. If you couldn't tell by now, the entire Colleen Ballinger core is rotten, and it extends in every single direction.
It's like a tumor with branches.
And some of this even extends to her deal with Netflix. But before we even get to that, I need to tell you about Ella. On June 14th, in light of Colleen still not making a public statement, Johnny Silvestri, who we'll be hearing from a little bit later, tweeted...
Why do I know that name? Why does that name sound
public statement? Johnny Silvestri, who we'll be hearing from a little bit later, tweeted this. Okay, Colleen, you want to play? Let's play. Look what I found. It's you bashing one of your biggest fans at the time this was sent. We used to make fun of them for editing fake freckles on their face, remember? Then you made fun of them for being trans/gender fluid. And in the screenshots are partially censored text showing Johnny and Colleen mocking someone. Now, Johnny follows this up by saying, my response was mean AF and I shouldn't have said it. I don't even know how to approach this. Part of me feels like this fan should know, but that's also the worst thing anyone can hear. I want to be mindful, but I can't not share this right now. And shortly afterwards, that fan figured out that the person Johnny was talking about was them. That fan is Ella, who virtually every Murfanda says was one of the most loyal fans Colleen had, who was completely heartbroken to find out Colleen, who was openly sweet to her face, said such cruel things about her. And
so I don't really agree with the whole non-binary gender fluid thing, but if I ever had a follower or a subscriber that was like that, I'm not gonna be to their face, Like, oh yes, thank you, I love you. And then be like, ha, stupid idiot. Like, I fully will say my position. There are two genders. That's it. You are either one or the other, and if you wish to transition from one to the other, off you go. But this whole non-binary nonsense doesn't work for me. And I'm going to say that to you, to your face, and not to your face. That's just how it is.
And it got worse. Quote, I just genuinely want you to know this is 100% hand on my heart. Things she said to my face on bus tour. I remember it clear as day. We were sitting in front of the hotel waiting for an Uber. She told me she believed you were faking your illness to get closer to her. And she was in the works of writing a movie about a girl who fakes illness to get close to celebrities and then gets exposed as the villain.
Oh my God. No way. She actually thought somebody was faking an illness and she was gonna write
She was writing a defamatory screenplay about you with her brother Chris. I genuinely do not want to hurt you with this information. She is diabolical. I am so sorry, Ella. Now, we've since confirmed that the person who sent Ella this text was Johnny, who during my interview that I'm sharing with him later said this to me.
She portrays such a loving and nurturing relationship with this girl in the public eye, and then she's literally sitting in this Uber with me, with the whole crew. Everybody was in that car on the way to dinner in Maine, and she's just going on about how her and her brother Chris are writing this whole plotline scenario for a movie.
Jesus Christ.
And it's gross. I saw now Chris said that he has not taken a part of that. He didn't say anything about it not being true or real. He just said, don't count me out of that narrative.
I'm not, yeah, he didn't deny it. He's just like, nope. I'm not a part of that. Like, oh my God, that is, again, like, for 100%, if somebody is faking an illness, fucking call them out. But if you don't have receipts for that shit, and you're just, like, guessing, and then you're gonna write a fucking screenplay? Like, whoa! That is insane to me. Like, I've had a couple of people that I've run across that I wasn't sure whether they were legit, but I would never think to do something that insane. That is... Wow! That is absolutely batshit insane. To just, like, why would you even put that much energy? If you thought that there was a fan that was faking an illness to get close to you, why would you just not ignore them? Why wouldn't you... Like, if you legitimately thought that, why would you give them that attention? Like, wouldn't you want to ignore that fan so they would go away? What a broken person.
Which I thought was kind of comical.
Now, I have some thoughts about this, especially since Chris Ballinger has, in fact, directly denied this allegation. And maybe it's true. He didn't write that script. You know what he did write with Colleen, though? That show, Haters Back Off, for Netflix. There's a character on that show, Miranda's mom, where there's a running joke that she has fake, undiagnosed fibromyalgia. Now,
okay. Fake undiagnosed fibro.
That she has fake undiagnosed fibromyalgia. Now, a huge shout out to Bridget Parker on Twitter, who introduced me to this particularly up part of the story and getting me through a few specific things that happen on the show with this character.
Ashley, you know what? Can you get the heavy items for me? Because my fibromyalgia. I have undiagnosed fibromyalgia. It's such a burden.
Wow. That's That is gross. That's all I can say about that. That is gross. I'm not entirely sure what else to say about that. Since my phone is not giving me chat, I'm just gonna plug it in so I can use it later. Anyway, even if you're gonna write a character that's faking something, like, that is so obvious. Like, that is such bad writing. Like, do you remember the episode of Family Guy when Lois Griffin was blinded and then she got her vision back and she kept faking being blind? Like, that was funny. But they didn't do this. Like, this is gross.
Alright, so how do I look?
Pitiful?
Perfect.
We're running out of time, Mom. Just push a button, please.
Okay.
She can't even clap for me anymore because we're fibromyalgia.
Bridget also directed me to this particular tweet where in my...
We're running out of time, Mom. Just push a button, please.
Okay.
She can't even clap for me anymore because we're fibromyalgia.
Bridget
for fibromyalgia
also directed me to this particular tweet where, in my opinion, it becomes clear that Chris and Colleen did, in fact, write that screenplay and turned it into a plot on Haters Back Off.
And I know people who make up ailments for themselves.
Oh,
that aren't
do
real.
you?
So fibromyalgia is a real thing, and it's like debilitating for people, and it's like really awful for people who have it. It's really horrible.
Oh, is it? It's like really like awful and like horrible? Shut up.
And
you don't know anything about it.
Bethany is like desperate to have anyone care about her, and so she's constantly making up these ailments to try to get someone to care about her, and still no one does. And
I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna move on. Colleen, I'm speaking directly to you now. From me to you, adult to adult. Colleen, off with that. Yeah. Full stop. As someone who lives with fibromyalgia and I was diagnosed when I was a child, I am telling you, you can all the way off with that, because now it's personal to me. And what you've done, the way you've exploited fibromyalgia and chronic illness is absolutely reprehensible. I am disgusted.
It's awful, because there is no... Everybody who has a chronic illness deals with it differently. And the chronic illness that, like, people deal with the same chronic illness differently, right? Like, somebody with fibromyalgia can have a completely different way of their flare-ups happening from somebody else. Somebody who has epilepsy can have their seizures triggered by something, and somebody else with epilepsy can have it not happen at all for the same trigger, and yet something else completely different will trigger them. But yet they both have epilepsy. Depression. Same thing. People with depression, they act differently. Like, you can't just sit there and say, oh, somebody is not behaving or acting a specific way, therefore they must be making up a chronic illness.
After sitting through clip after clip of your sad little show, watching your characters, the ones you created, make an absolute mockery of the very real, very debilitating, and sinister plague that is fibromyalgia, is perhaps one of the most vile things I've ever seen. And you should forever be ashamed of yourself, but I think you're too bloated with how much you gas yourself up to have any room for shame. Yep. It is widely documented medically that fibromyalgia is a neurological disease and a disorder of the central nervous system that has no cure. Imagine living with something with no cure. Do you think it's funny that people living with fibromyalgia are 4 to 5 times more likely to also battle depression and anxiety? That we should turn on Netflix and watch scene after scene of you trolling what we live through in...
It is. It's
intentionally blurring the line with your mother character so that people no longer could tell if the mom is faking or actually has fibromyalgia, because I don't know. It just all kind of looks like it's faking no matter what, right?
Right? That's the thing. Because it's a central nervous system disease, it will fucking misfire the neurons that are responsible for the dopamine and serotonin production. So yeah, there is the bigger likelihood for depression and anxiety in fibro patients. Not to mention, dealing with almost constant nerve pain that you cannot get rid of is also going to cause you depression. So, get all the way fucked with that bullshit. To sit there and make fun of anybody with chronic pain or chronic illness and depression, and are there people who use that shit to get, overly assisted? Yes. Does that mean that everybody with a chronic illness is a user and whiny and no, not even close.
Are we a joke to you? Would you write the same jokes around cancer? How about Parkinson's? Would that tickle your fancy? Exactly how insignificant does
she was okay with letting a blind person play dolls with her baby. I wonder if Swoop knows about that. I wonder if Swoop knows about that. I wonder if Swoop knows that she let a blind person play dolls with her baby for clout and then use that video to pretend to her subscribers, look at me, I'm a blind person and I'm learning how to babysit. Oh shit. I'm gonna send that to Swoop later.
Our suffering have to be to you to satiate your need to dehumanize our diseases.
Oh, that's fine. Like I just said, she's willing to use her own children to help blind grifters dehumanize themselves. So it's cool.
We all know that there are heavy stigmas around fibromyalgia and invisible illness. Even though the medical facts remain, this shit is very real.
Yep. The hell? Did I just mute it?
Is know that there are heavy stigmas around fibromyalgia and invisible illness. Even though the medical facts remain, this shit is very real. Is that why you targeted us? Did you think no one would notice you preying upon people living with a neurological disease so that you could make some money? Well, I guess you didn't think that someone with fibromyalgia and a platform was going to enter the chat, but bitch, here I am. Welcome to my face and welcome to the repercussions of your shitty actions. I'm done. I'll let Alex finish this section.
Seeing that Colleen, based the Miranda character off people with fibromyalgia and people with chronic illness, it just disgusts me, and I feel so sick thinking about it, because I've, struggled the last 10 years with 3 autoimmune diseases and a lot of other chronic illnesses. And to see someone that I idolized in those years when I was struggling so much with these illnesses, make fun of them and make fun of other people and make them out like they're nothing, it really angers me, because no one would choose to have these illnesses. We would all love to be out living our lives and just doing things that we love, but unfortunately our bodies don't always let us do that.
Nope.
For her to think that fans would fake being ill just to talk to Colleen and get close to her is the most disgusting thing ever, really. I can't imagine faking an illness just to get close to someone.
No.
When I could be out living my own life and being with my friends and not missing out on my life. I'm watching it pass me by for so long. I just think it's absolutely.
And my mother always said that her mom had a saying, which is, you will only accuse people of the things you will do yourself. So if Colleen's going to accuse people of faking something just to get close to something or to somebody, I wonder how much has she faked in her life to get close to people. Oh, wait a minute. We're watching an entire documentary about that.
Absolutely disgusting and appalling behaviour on Colleen's part. If anyone out there with chronic illnesses or body image issues does hear this, I just want you to know that you're so strong, and so much stronger than you'll ever believe you are. you're beautiful and you're worthy and, you know, you're here for a reason and you're so loved and cared about, and I hope you really know that, and know that what other people tell you does not define who you are, and it doesn't define your worth. You know, just make sure you're taking care of yourself, because you matter so much in this world.
Really?
You can't take care of other people if you don't take care of yourself.
Taking care of yourself, because you matter so much in this world.
Really trusting relationships with all of our parents, like first name basis. It was very tight knit. It's not just some little parasocial thing.
After Adam shared more of his story, someone else came forward with incredibly damning evidence against Colleen. His name is Johnny Silvestri. Since the beginning of June, Johnny has posted hundreds of times about what he alleges he endured, courtesy of not only Colleen, but various members of her crew and family. Today, Johnny is 27 years old, but his introduction to the Colleen world came back in 2011 when he was only 15, where according to the interview I got with him,
like, I was a high school dropout kid, bullied out of school, didn't have friends, and I sought solace, found it in a online community of people my age. And my parents were thrilled when we went to New York and they saw a bunch of kids and not just some creeps on the internet.
I bet. And that's what's even more sinister about this whole thing, is the fact that there were kids, like so many kids, and she knew that kids were loving her content, and she used that to get her little group of preferential children, because the other parents that would have brought their kids to these meet and greets would have been like, oh, thank God, there are other kids here. Other parents must have, you know, had some exposure to this. It must be fine. That's what's so fucking terrifying about this.
But they totally trusted Colleen and Josh. They built relationships with them as well. A lot of the parents did. They built really trusting relationships with all of our parents. It started off as me interacting with fan accounts.
It's almost like a cult at that point, because they get the parents involved.
With my real Twitter account at the time, but then I switched over to a fan account to kind of escape that real world, which is where Skype calls started happening. Then I finally got to go to a Miranda Sings show, 2012. That's when I finally met these people.
By 2018, Johnny had gotten so close to the fandom that Colleen actually hired Johnny to be a tour assistant and driver for her summer tour when he was 22. He told the website Passion Fruit that he was paid somewhere between $120, $140 a day for 12 or more hours of daily work, and that he, quote, did the dirty work that no one else wanted to, and always felt Colleen was holding my job over my head. If I fumbled on one thing, that was gonna be it for me. It was like walking on eggshells.
Gee, more narcissistic behavior. Making your targets walk on eggshells to please you because they're terrified of pissing you off.
Now, there's actually a lot more to Johnny's story, including allegations of grooming that he's since levied against Josh Evans, Colleen's ex-husband, who is to date the only person named in any of these allegations who has responded. Now, in order to do that story, the only person named in any of these allegations who has responded.
Who has responded.
Now, in order to do that story justice, though, I will be including that in part 2 in full. But the best way I can explain Johnny's situation in short, ultimately, is that he ended up in a situation where he was neglected by Colleen Ballinger and straight up abused by Corey DeSoto.
Oh.
Allegedly.
It's a lot because on tour, the extent of it was Corey. He would patronize, bully me, belittle me on a daily basis to the point where I would be in tears. I was having panic attacks, anxiety attacks. And Colleen acts like she's all mindful of this stuff.
Yeah, mental health. Gotta be mindful of mental health. Gotta make sure everybody's okay. Meanwhile, I'm grooming and abusing people behind the scenes, allegedly. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick bathroom break, so we're gonna do 3 minutes of ads and I shall return. So do that and do this and do this. All right, guys. We are back. Let's get back to this part. Okay. We have, looks like 28 minutes left of this thing. Okay.
Because she deals with it herself, but she doesn't care if it's not affecting her. She just doesn't want to be affected by it. So she let this stuff happen. She watched it happen. And that's what, I mean, she was complicit. She was absolutely complicit. That entire family was.
I can honestly think of all of you, like, as my best friends. Like, I don't have friends.
Oh,
and I'm a loner and I'm a loser. Like, my only friend is Colleen, and I don't have friends.
Family was.
I can honestly think of all.
So this will be young him, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
And this will be Colleen reacting.
Was.
I can honestly think of all of you, like, as my best friends. Like, I don't have friends.
Oh,
and I'm alone.
See, did you hear that? Oh, God.
And I'm a loser. Like, my only friend is Colleen, and, like...
The truth is, this is as good a time as any to talk about the many allegations against Corey DeSoto, Colleen's grown-ass best friend, since a lot of what Johnny has to say about Corey is very much in line with what other fans have also alleged. For example, Corey had his own creepy-sounding group chat called Corey's Clit with a K.
Ew!
Classy,
Corey's
also with a K. And there's some interesting things that have leaked from that group, which was also full of minors, like the Weenies group. They're nothing if not consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, the voice memo he sent to the group about how the group chat are his only friends.
Hey everyone, it's Corey. I just wanted to record a voice memo because I have like a lot to say. But first of all, I just want to say that like I love all of you. Like you honestly means so much to me.
Oh my god.
You have no idea. I know that it sounds weird because I'm a full-grown adult and some of you are younger.
Oh my
god. Blah blah blah.
Oh my god.
They're freaking out. They're freaking out because this is him talking to them.
Like, I honestly think of all of you, like, as my best friends. Like, I don't have friends. It's so comforting to, like, go online and talk to you guys and feel, like, loved and cared about, because I love and care about all of you.
Or a message from when information started leaking from that group and Corey threatened to block a fan on Twitter.
Oh!
Or this image where he talks about how he's tired of editing Colleen's rants. Or this Twitter thread from Johnny that says, Corey aggressively backed me into a corner in Omaha and said, look at how many followers you have versus me. I'm your superior. I was 22. Dude was like 30 plus at the time. One more.
Wow! What kind of high school bullshit is that? Look how many followers I have. Oh my god. 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 Oh god. Oh god. Oh Jesus. Oh, I've got to try that on Driving Ape when he gets home. I gotta see if that works. I've got to back him into a corner and tell him I have more followers. Look how many followers I have, and look how many followers you have. I'm your superior. What a pathetic piece of shit. Oh my god. Oh my god.
One morning, he barged into our hotel room and screamed at me until I cried. He told me the night before he wanted to sleep on the bus. The morning after, he tried to make it seem like I took the hotel key without him knowing and locked him out. Or the time that Corey intimidated Johnny into not even being able to use the restroom anymore on tour. And whenever Johnny tried to stand up to Corey, quote,
not even
when I
able
finally
to
stood
do
up
what?
to Corey, he called for it. It seemed like I took the hotel key without him knowing and locked him out. Or the time that Corey intimidated Johnny into not even being able to use the restroom anymore on tour. And whenever Johnny tried to stand up to Corey, quote, when I finally stood up to Corey, he called for an emergency meeting because he wanted me out. I was gaslit into apologizing so I could keep my job and reputation. They all just sat there and watched him torture me. They knew it was happening. And hey, it wasn't just Johnny too.
It wasn't happening to them, so it's fine, right?
Example, Soph on Twitter tweeted, the reason I had a panic attack is because Corey yelled and humiliated me and my niece for sharing a phone to take pics. Keep in mind she's disabled and a child, and he ended up only taking 2 pics. Corey ruined every meet and greet I had. Or how about this time when Corey physically yanked an underage fan from crossing a line just to show Colleen a tattoo? Or that time Corey gave an underage fan inappropriate relationship tips and tricks. I mean, it just goes
Oh, Jesus Christ. What did he do? Teach them how to give... Never mind.
On and on and on with Corey DeSoto, to the point that instead of addressing the allegations, Corey just straight up deleted the evidence, allegedly, and then he deleted his Twitter altogether. Oh, and fun little sidebar, but Colleen's sister Rachel once tweeted this in 2019. Just gonna drop that in sans commentary, but we're all looking at you too, girl.
We all have free will. Just because you're a victim doesn't mean you get a free pass to treat other people like garbage.
Now, I want to take a quick moment here to acknowledge that since I started working on this doc, Rolling Stone has released an article about the Colleen Ballinger story that centers the victims in the story in a way that many mainstream outlets haven't. Good. Everybody I've talked to is featured in the article, and everybody, according to their Twitter feeds, seems to feel quite validated about larger outlets hearing them out, even despite a few valid issues that some of them have. Now, there is one other thing I need to slightly criticize the Rolling Stone article for, though. And given the sheer amount of allegations levied against Colleen Ballinger, her friends, and her family, I'm fully going to give Rolling Stone the benefit of the doubt that they might have just, simply missed this in their initial reporting. But within the article, it says, and I quote, "Ballinger's allegations aren't criminal. This is false."
That's not
and here's
true at
why.
all.
One of the more shocking allegations that Johnny makes on his Twitter is that starting on the 2018 bus tour and through 2020, he alleges that Colleen would send nude photos of somebody to the rest of the crew and friends in the group chats to make fun of their body.
That's not okay. And also her sending pictures or asking for ass pictures of minors.
This included
is not
Johnny,
okay.
who thankfully was of age at the time, but also Adam, who was only 15 when he allegedly received those photos. Oh, and her friend that she was making fun of was Trisha Paytas. Whew! Anyway, yeah, this isn't about Trisha, though.
She sent naked pictures of Trisha fucking Paytas to... okay.
Fun of? Was Trisha Paytas. Whew! Anyway, yeah, this isn't about Trisha, though it is worth noting that as of 2023, Colleen and Trisha have a podcast together, which may or may not have just been canceled. But allegedly, Colleen straight up signed up for Trisha's OnlyFans type platform called Trishyland and would regularly pull Trisha's nude photos just to make fun of her. Like, it's one thing to be such a hateful effing asshat that you would do that to someone who should be your friend, but it's actually a straight up crime to do that with Adam, according to the Department of Justice. Let me say that again. According to the Department of Justice, it is a federal United States law that obscene material being distributed to minors is strictly prohibited, and quote, any transfer or attempt to transfer such material to a minor under the age of 16, including over the internet, is punishable under federal law.
Also, isn't Colleen Canadian? And there is also a Canadian law that's similar, so she's fucked in both countries.
Yes, Adam McIntyre was 15. This entire part of the story is actually wild to me. If any part of this whole story is grounds for Colleen Ballinger to see the inside of a jail cell, it would be because she was acting petty about Trisha Paytas. Paytas.
Yeah, she's so fucking hateful about Trisha Paytas that she has to share naked pictures of Trisha Paytas to children. Why? Why?
Trisha Paytas. Like, oh my okay. Yeah, I can't. What I was really surprised by with all of the stories Johnny had posted on Twitter is he still managed to tell me 2 stories that caught me completely off guard because I hadn't heard them anywhere else. First, remember how I told you about how Colleen wasn't exactly forthcoming about her inspiration for Miranda Sings?
She has said online to my face that she bases her character traits of Miranda off of her disabled brother, and when he is having his quote-unquote, her words, temper tantrums, she essentially sits back, watches them, gets a kick out of it, takes mental note to create her portrayal of Miranda. I mean...
She has fucking middle child syndrome. Because she's the third of 4 kids. So, fucking the oldest brother. Or, the second brother. Because Chris, I think, is the oldest. So the second brother is disabled. And she oh my god, she is such a middle child. Holy fuck. She is literally making fun of her brother. Like... And using her brother as a basis for her fucking bullshit character. No wonder her character has a speech impediment.
It's just absolutely disturbing.
And then there's this.
And I'll never forget this. I haven't gone on the record with this at all, and to give you context, I've always struggled with my weight. I've always been underweight and struggled with body issues, but I'll never forget when Colleen's friend joined us on tour, and Colleen said in the basement, in the dressing room, her friend is sleeping on the bus, and she was commenting about her weight and how she was worried that she was maybe anorexic, and she then looked at me and said, "But I love thin. I want to be as thin as I can be, like almost dangerously thin. Like, I know that's so fucked up to say, but I just think thin is so beautiful." And I about fell over. I was so horrified.
This is horrifying and has
That's
echoes
weird.
of Adam's stories about Colleen body checking him and Alex's stories about Colleen
That is
doing
so
that
weird.
in the group chats.
I want to be dangerously thin? Like, why? Why would you say that?
Really apparently bizarre obsession with thinness that extends across her relationships and even some of her content. Thank you, Johnny, for sharing part of your story with me. Most of his interview is going into part 2 of this docu-series, and again, I'll see you in part 2.
Grabbed my dog for no reason, just grabbed the dog and pinched its skin and dug my nails into it. The dog yelps, turns around to protect itself, and bites me in the face.
The list of allegations about Colleen Ballinger and her ecosphere goes...
Run that back me? Wait, what?
Grabbed my dog for no reason, just grabbed the dog and pinched its skin and dug my nails into it. The dog yelps, turns around to protect itself, and bites me in the face.
The list of allegations about Colleen Ballinger and her ecosphere goes on and on because, as we've discovered in recent weeks, Colleen Ballinger might allegedly be one of the most prolific groomers to ever grace the YouTube platform. I mean, I don't know. Now, you might be wondering what's been said about Trent Ballinger since I haven't told you the story in this video. Well, friends, that's a whole other shite storm that I will be expanding upon in part 2, where I could tell it in more detail with an interview I'm conducting with a lad named
Canadian?
Oliver.
I think so.
Oliver tweeted about his experiences with Trent Ballinger messaging him inappropriately when he was only 13 years old, who messaged Oliver about S constantly, as well as pressuring Oliver to talk about his own orientation, all while calling him Peapod. You can read Oliver's horrifying story linked below, but we'll be going into fuller detail about Trent in part 2. It is shocking. But what about all of the stories that don't have as many details? Like how Humbug Mommy was SULized on stage at the age of 16. What about Colleen's nephew, who was a toddler when Colleen would do things like stick a microphone in her sister's mouth while he watched? Or
what?
On stage at the age of 16. What about Colleen's nephew, who was a toddler when Colleen would do things like stick a microphone in her sister's mouth while he watched? Or what about the many kids who come out during the Miranda Sings stage show and have to do things like pretend to go on a date with her, or stick their hands down her pants for a snack? I'm not...
Oh, Jesus Christ, no!
Kidding. That is part of the show. Imagine if she was a man doing that.
No! Why would any parents want... As a parent, why would you be like, yes, I'm going to take my child to this show, and then when you're watching this happen, not run up on stage and go, excuse the fuck me, you creepy bitch, why are you having my child stick his hands down your pants?
I haven't even shown a lot of the other grossest shit available on Colleen's channels because I have to censor like everything. This is someone who literally performs for kids, who has a show that's classified on Netflix as a kids show, and yet that person is also a person who sent this to the Weenies group chat.
I swear I'm not high.
And that person also made thumbnails like these. And this, a screenshot of her asking Adam for a picture of his behind. This doesn't even take into account all the times that she's been documented abusing animals. That's a thing. Or making fun of dead animals, or joking about ending her dog.
So I grabbed my dog for no reason, just grabbed the dog and pinched its skin and dug my nails into it. The dog yelps, turns around to protect itself, and bites me in the face. And I got stitches and went to the hospital, and they were like, what happened? And I was like, the dog just bit me. And then they had to put the dog to sleep because the dog was dangerous to be around.
So
you purposely pissed off your dog to get it put to sleep? You made your dog bite you so that it would have to be put down. That's what I'm getting from that. That's what I'm taking from that right now.
And then they had to put the dog to sleep because the dog was dangerous to be around.
So before I hit my conclusion, I'll leave you with these two thoughts outright. Number one, if all of this is true, and there's a receipt for damn near everything, Colleen Ballinger might in fact be the most prolific groomer hiding in plain sight. Yeah. Allegedly. Imagine if everything was the same, but Colleen was a man.
That channel, that every channel associated would be gone. In like that, it would be gone.
How would you feel? I can't be petty or cute about this. It's actually f***ing sick.
Yeah.
Whew, child, I need a whole lot of kitties on my screen to cleanse my palate after this, and then I will get to my final thoughts. The sweet little billing department babies. Oh man, they make me so relaxed. They are so cute. Remember, you can grab your official Petty University apparel linked below and join the community and get excited because I will also be dropping a brand new collection, hopefully in part 2 of this series if we can get everything, all of the details, the bows tied. A couple of Twitter shout-outs from my last doc, which is a fascinating and equally petty deep dive into the shady world of the fashion brand Shein. If you haven't seen it, it is eye-opening, and it is linked below. First shout-out goes to Chris, who said, I love that she discussed the history of sweatshops and how hard it can be to be both ethical while balancing personal issues like financial status and affordability of plus size. Capitalism is a hydra that requires better laws and overhead to be slain. Couldn't agree with you more. And second shout out goes to Jen, who says the Illuminati and Shein docs were both amazingly well done. I love you. You know when Swoop is digging into something, it's really bad. I look forward to the inevitable Colleen Swoop doc. If you want to be my next Twitter shout out, make sure to follow me on Twitter at SpankyB, linked below, and retweet this video right here. Also, hit me up on Instagram, okay? Linked in the description. That's where I post most often, respond to a lot of DMs, and your girl's got a goal. I'm trying to get to 100,000 followers there.
I have followed her on Instagram and Twitter. Definitely go do that.
We can do it, okay? I have faith. We can do it. Be sure to tap my link below and check out SeatGeek and get $20 off any tickets at SeatGeek with promo code SWOOP, and treat yourself, honey. You deserve it. As we conclude part 1 of this docu-series, the allegations keep coming. More old clips are found, and despite all of the evidence, the victims are being punished by supposed Colleen fans for speaking up, from people insulting their experiences to people engaging in whataboutism to downplay the severity to straight up physical threats and attacks. As a result of this harassment, Adam has reached out to the Brighton and Derry police departments, who made him go on the record with who Colleen Ballinger is and what his relationship is to her. So to put that bluntly, the police are now involved in some capacity. I would imagine people who were harassing him didn't want the police involved, but it's because of them that now they are. But this story is so much bigger now than Adam McIntyre and Colleen Ballinger, something Adam himself mentioned in his interview.
It's more important than what I'm talking about because it goes to show that this was happening to everyone, and everyone was sitting on these stories back in 2020, but they didn't feel, obviously it wasn't the right time for them to speak up about it. But to me, you know, Oliver, Becky, Johnny, to me at this stage, that is what I have been finding comfort in highlighting, because it's their time, it's their story.
Yeah, this isn't Adam versus Colleen. This is the story of somebody who, if even a fraction of these allegations are true, is deeply troubling. The moment the Miranda Sings character became the idol of millions of kids around the world, there should have been a restructuring of the entire ethos behind the character. Colleen knows this. She's admitted this, and yet she changed nothing. Why? Instead, in the wake of Adam's accusations against her in 2020, allegedly. Adam alleges that there was a shift made to the Colleen Ballinger stage show that glorifies, even to this day, how you can profit off of being canceled. She's even selling brand new canceled merch just last night. This is how she chooses to respond to allegations of grooming by multiple fans she kept close.
Canceled
Miranda
merch?
Sings and Colleen Ballinger
she
are
has
completely
canceled
inseparable
merch?
ideologically.
Christ.
In case you don't believe me, Colleen admitted that herself to Stephen Colbert.
Do you ever mean what she's saying?
Yes, all the time. There's a lot of times where in character I'll say something so cruel or something I'm thinking but I never actually say as myself. And it's very liberating to be able to say things that I'm thinking.
Can I give you some advice?
Yes.
Never tell people when those moments are.
We have to remember two things when talking about this. Number one, everyone I interviewed was an actual child when the alleged victimizations took place. Adam was 13 when Colleen sent him the undergarments. Becky was 16 when she was exposed on stage. Johnny was 15 when he met Josh Evans. Oliver was 13 when he was befriended by Trent.
If she's talking to me about sex, or she's asking me about things, or she's whatever, we've already talked about like an abusive marriage. We've already talked about divorce. Everything from that moment on felt less.
And it wasn't just the kids who have had to deal with this trauma being brought back up to the forefront. It's the parents as well.
We created private Twitter accounts so that our parents would not know about it. But Colleen the Weenies and I had private Twitter accounts that had like 13 followers. It was private. And I would log in and out of the account, and that was the account Colleen would talk to us on, because she knew that it was an account that all of the children in that group chat's parents had no connection to. My mom is, thanks to Cody, discovering all of the of me and Colleen for the first time, and is, you know, like, I can't even imagine what she's thinking. I sent my mom the longest apology, you know, a couple nights ago, being like, I'm so sorry you're seeing how I acted on the internet and stuff, and she was like, no, you were acting this way because this is what Colleen promoted and this was getting the attention, and that was the first real honest conversation me and my mom have had about that specific thing.
That's not, like, could you imagine the like, first of all, the parents probably felt duped. Not probably. They did. I bet. I can guarantee you they felt duped, because they thought that they finally found a safe community for their kids on the internet. Because how many years have parents been bombarded with the internet's not safe for your kids? So they were like, oh, thank God, I found a safe place for my children to be online. And now and look at what happened. Look at the person that was interacting with these kids, and these parents, for the most part, seemed like they were actually involved in their kids' lives. Maybe with the exception of Johnny, it seems like their parents were very much involved and cared very greatly about, what their children did online, and tried their best to protect them and find a safe environment for them. And their children still got groomed and abused, allegedly. And I'm telling you right now, as a parent, this right here is why my kids are not on the internet. So this is right. When people are like, oh, how many kids do you have? What are their names? Blah, 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 blah. No. Fuck off with that. No. All you need to know is I have kids. If they sometimes accidentally jump in front of the camera, I'll tell them to get off the camera. That's about it. The internet is not for kids. Apparently, it's not even for over 13s. Because of people like frickin' Colleen Ballinger.
My mom is the person that I said I want Colleen and Corey to apologize privately and publicly to before they apologize to me.
Which leads me to the other thing we have to remember. Literally everyone here was a fan. a massive fan
Yeah,
of Colleen
they put
Ballinger,
in their
and
time,
she allegedly
they put in
took
their
advantage
love.
of them. She was their idol, imagine. In
They
their
bought
interviews,
her
I could
stuff.
see and hear a glimmer of joy in each of them as they talked about something they cared so deeply about when they were younger. That glimmer is something Colleen Ballinger has taken away from these brave people, and that's not even on allegedly. Colleen is Miranda Sings. Whatever Miranda has done to hurt people, Colleen has done herself. None of us are immune to developing parasocial relationships, so I want to make it very clear this isn't an attack on the Colleen fandom. I get it. If you're a fan who's watching this is me sharing the stories of people who were once sitting exactly where you are.
Fans are not bad people. Being a fan of somebody doesn't make you bad. It's the creator. Like, and I always say that, you know, you're not responsible for how people receive your content, right? Like, you're responsible for what you put out, but you're not responsible for whether somebody takes offense to it or not or whatever. But you are responsible for how you treat your fans. You are responsible for how you conduct yourself towards your fans, and you are responsible, especially if your fans are underage, with how you interact with them and how you speak to them. Because even if you are, like, that's why I mark my stuff as not meant for children, because it's not. I swear, I make dark jokes. I'm crass. I'm raunchy. I am not a children's creator. The video games I play are not meant for children. So I mark my channels as such because I don't want there to be any mistake. Now, Colleen specifically knows that children watch her stuff, and she doesn't care to change how she presents her content. That's a problem.
Who used to watch every piece of Colleen Ballinger content they could and feeling as if they needed to defend someone they didn't even really truly know. Someone that they now believe does not actually care about your well-being and your safety at all. I think the victims who share their stories just don't want you to potentially be harmed in the same way that they were. They're speaking up for the fandom. I hope that tells you something. Now, Colleen is still touring as we speak with her live stage show, and as of recording, none of her shows have been canceled yet.
Wow,
and so I
really?
asked Adam what, if anything, she could do to make this right.
If Colleen and Corey do a private apology to both me privately, my mother privately, my mother publicly, me publicly, I'll never talk about this situation again. I don't think I'm gonna get that. No. So I don't know what happens next. I literally do not know what happens next.
If you did get an apology from her, do you, and maybe this is an impossible question to answer, but do you think that you would accept it?
If there was acknowledgement in it.
If I could say anything to Colleen right now, it would just be that I hope all of this backlash is just an ounce of the pain that I felt after years and years of trusting you and loving you and supporting you financially and just constant support from me, only for you to completely turn around and violate me on stage. I just hope.
I'm with her. I'm with Becky.
You can I hope. Pain. I don't know how you sleep at night knowing that you have hurt so many people. It blows my mind. I think you lack empathy completely. The last thing that I want to say to Colleen is, if it was one of your kids that you were putting through these situations, how would you feel?
And then I asked Adam if he could give me one word to describe why he thought she groomed her fans. And his response was very telling. Tell me, why do you think Colleen groomed her fans?
Power.
Yep. Straight up power.
It's for power.
Power. Simple as that. And then I asked him the following. One word that you could use to sum up this entire experience for you. What would that be?
Abusive.
You're right.
Power and abusive. Says it all right there, doesn't it? And towards the end of the interview, I asked Adam about forgiveness, and his answer surprised me. Do you think at some point, and if you can even answer this, do you think that one day you might forgive Colleen?
I would say no. I'm older than him, and I would say no if I was him. I wouldn't like sit there and hold a grudge, but I'd be like, no, you can fuck right off.
I was expecting that I was already going to have done that because I thought that this last 2 weeks were going to have played out a completely different way. She has shows in the next few days. If she goes on these shows without having acknowledged anything, then there's nothing she can do in my eyes anymore. And that's like a really harsh thing because it kind of leaves me with like, okay, I'm never going to get any closure in this. If she actively embarks on a new tour, it means that she sees no problem with what she's done to me and all these other people. And she's actively going out there and performing for those kids. And that apology, that ukulele, whatever the fuck that was, just shows that she thinks it's fine. She's probably going to do the same thing too. I know that she doesn't care, and there's nothing she can do that I can forgive her for.
And 3 days later, Colleen started her new tour, potentially closing that window of forgiveness forever.
And a few more days after my interview with Adam, Colleen Ballinger finally released a response video, which
I reacted to on the YouTube channel.
Was literally just a trash song with a ukulele.
All aboard the toxic gossip train.
Yeah, she took the ukulele sound out. You can hear her plucking it, but Swoop has edited down the ukulele, and thank you, Swoop.
Chugging down the tracks of misinformation, the toxic gossip train. You got a one-way ticket to manipulation station.
Basically saying that there's nothing to address and that it's everyone else's fault but hers. It is a complete victim shaming and blaming, some of the worst that I have seen in a very long time. I wanted to initially cover it in part 1 of this documentary, but I think it deserves an entire own piece, which I will be doing, and I will be dissecting and breaking down point by point with evidence, with statements from the victims, and so that we continue to have a full, comprehensive look with actual context instead of all of the shaming, blaming, and avoidance that video is. It is, I am not going to hold back in that one. So that one will be coming up after that. So that will be the next upload after this one.
I should have known better, and I didn't, and I'm extremely embarrassed by that. I'm really hopeful that I can be used as proof that people can change and grow and learn from their mistakes. If you continue to speak up when you see someone doing something or saying something wrong, it can make a difference.
People have spoken up, Colleen. They're raising awareness. They're making a difference.
And your response is the toxic gossip chain. Blah 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 blah.
Why haven't you? You could stop the harassment of these young people if you wanted to. Why haven't you? Now, in case anyone thinks I'm being unfair to Colleen Ballinger, I did email Colleen asking for comment. As of today, Colleen Ballinger has not responded to my request for comment. So with that, I want to leave this with some final words from my interview with Adam. What's next for you? Whether it involves this or outside of this even, because you are so much more than this story and this experience. You're a whole human who doesn't just live on the internet. But what's next for you?
I just kind of want like a moment of like not in it. It's been like, I felt like I'm on like a treadmill that's like running and I'm trying to keep up with it. But like actually what's next is to kind of just like take a moment offline to process what happened offline or online and then move forward in a way offline. Feel like you could probably understand that as well as like as a content creator, how they can get so muffled. So my personal goal moving forward is to create a divide that's healthy.
I think that's a great thing to look forward to. And I know that I, along with thousands upon thousands of other people, are excited to see what it is that you do next, where you move next, and whatever that is. And we just want you to be happy and safe.
Thank you so much again for caring, and thank you for being so sweet publicly and privately. And I also, whether you include this or not, I want your audience to know that as well, about how involved you have been privately as much as publicly. I can speak for me and them that we appreciate what you do on YouTube and your coverage of it, and just like how you're taking the time to form some sort of safe space as well as just doing an interview. So I really appreciate that, and I also
I like the fact that she's able to call people out and still provide, and I hate to use this word, but like, I'm not, like, I don't want to call it a safe space, but like a dignified way to share people's stories.
I want your audience to know that, whether you include this or not. And just thank you for your time as well.
You are more than welcome, and again, I'll reiterate, you don't have to thank me. It's what you deserve. It's what all of you deserve, and I want more than anything for all of you to feel supported throughout all of this. You are so cherished and such a special part of so many people's lives and your families, and you know, the things that you choose to share online with people are really powerful. And I really do believe that you have helped so many people that you will just never know about. I do have one more question, and this is a very, very important question, very deep and profound. I need to know the story about your Garfield tattoo.
Oh my goodness. Wait. Oh, this one?
Yes. I love that.
I love Garfield. Like, I have like a little ugly Garfield here, and I have like an even bigger one. Wait, can I literally go grab it?
Yes, please, please. The world needs to know.
My favorite thing in the entire world.
Oh my gosh, and he's so big. I love it.
So
that's so cute.
Yeah, and I mean, I love it. Garfield just reminds me of whenever I would like watch TV like really late at night with my dad. It was like the only thing that was on. So it kind of like, that was how it started.
Aww.
And now it's just like I will be up at night watching Garfield, and it reminds me of home. So that's where it all stemmed from.
Awesome.
You scared me with that question. I didn't know where that was going.
My apologies.
Well, thank you for ending it like that.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you everyone who shared your stories. And I will see all of you in part 2. And as always, stay ready, stay petty, class dismissed. Swoop!
That was heavy. That was some heavy shit, you guys. Holy fuck. That was, oh my god. And like I said, I feel like there's a reason, if you saw my Twitter, I had a really, yes, and if you used, sorry, but yep. Anyone who uses a ukulele should be dragged out into the street and beaten with sticks. Forgive no one, not forget. Yep. You can be a fan of the art, but not the artist. Yep. I'm sure the parents are now feeling guilty that they trusted her and her team. Oh, for sure. Programmer, what the hell? Oh, that was some heavy shit. That was just, whew. That was, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a palate cleanser before we end the stream. I'm not ending the stream on that shit. We're gonna watch something else really quick to end the stream. We're gonna watch a funny. We're gonna look for a funny. That's what we're gonna do. Because Jesus Christ, that was wow. That's all I can say. And there's another part coming. So, let's do a cup video to end off with. What does Code Blue Cam have for us? Code Blue Cam always has fun things. Oh yeah! That was the video that I didn't get to.
On December...
That was the video I didn't get to the other day, so I can watch it now. I can watch it now. That way, it will be a good palate cleanser. At least I think so. Capture card. Capture card's plugged in? Oh. Cool. Okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Theater mode. Okay, so police surprise disorderly woman as elevator opens. Okay, this should be good. Let's take a look.
On December 20th, 2022, an officer was dispatched to a parking ramp regarding a trouble with party call in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
A trouble with party call? Oh, but fucking La Crosse! What is it with La Crosse? And what is trouble with party? Does that mean that there is one person being obnoxious? Or does that mean that there is a big orgy going on?
Dispatched to a parking ramp regarding a trouble with party call in La Crosse, Wisconsin. A caller reported a female charge and screamed at him as he attempted to enter the elevator on his way to work that morning.
Okay.
Being that the caller was also a dispatcher from La Crosse County Dispatch Center, he notified police of the incident.
Charged at them like a rhinoceros?
The reported subject was later identified as a 30-year-old female named Alicia.
Alicia, that doesn't sound very much like a woman that would charge at somebody. I could... Okay.
52, did the complainant leave a callback number at all? Is there a description of whoever charged at them? 10-4.
After the officer's arrival, he pressed the elevator button, waited briefly until it opened, revealing Alicia inside.
She was there already.
But before we continue, let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor, Sonoran Desert Institute. With
That's funny.
Close the elevator door. Upon his request to speak with Alicia, she refused and quickly attempted to close the elevator door.
Does he want charges or... Hey there, mind talking to me real quick?
What, did she call him a knucklehead?
Hey there, mind talking to me real quick?
She did. She called him a knucklehead. She's 30 years old and she called him a knucklehead.
What's going on today? Okay.
Nothing. I'm just playing a rhinoceros today. I'm charging and screaming at people.
For me? Stop. 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 Stop.
Now I'm gonna play rhinoceros with you.
Stop. Listen, I just want to talk to you.
As she displayed active resistance, she was safely decentralized to the floor.
Give me the other hand. I have contact with one. Dan, if you could pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, hurry up. She's being extra bull-like today. I kind of need some assistance here. Oh my god. Okay. Fucking... What is it with these women? And I can't believe she called him a knucklehead. I can't believe she called him a knucklehead. Oh my god, that's just too funny. Fuck off, you knucklehead. Oh, okay, let's carry on.
Give me your other hand. Listen, I just want to talk to you. I just had to decentralize one. Give me your other hand.
Give me your other hand.
Don't put me in jail.
Well, I just asked you to stop and talk to me, and we couldn't do that.
Don't take me in jail.
Okay,
Well,
we can figure it out.
Oh, now she's crying.
Stop.
Now she's fucking crying like a... Please don't take me to jail. Is she banging her head on the floor?
Stop.
Oh. Okay.
Stop.
Bang, bang, bang. I'm gonna bang my head on the floor. Stop that. Fuck you!
Stop.
How you doing?
Dad?
Who's this?
I don't know yet.
She's trying to give herself a concussion right now. She really wants to keep playing bull or rhinoceros or something.
Here.
Officers then attempted to calm her down, but she responded by screaming and hitting her head against the concrete floor.
Stop. You're all right. We got time. Stop. You're all right.
Jesus Christ, lady. Are you 30 or are you 3?
We're gonna roll over on your side, and then we're gonna get you.
My oldest used to act like this when he was a toddler.
Ma'am, do you have any type of weapons on you?
Don't fucking talk to me. I'm mad at you.
We're not gonna hit her head. Watch out, Ryan.
Don't try to kick.
Let's get her up so she's not banging her head. Alright, you got this side, Ryan. I got this side. You gotta stop kicking me out. We're here to help you.
No, you're not!
Whoa! Where's this one?
No, you're not here to help me. I want to keep banging my head on the floor. That'll help me. It's fine.
I got her.
I like banging my head on the concrete.
This actually helps.
Stay away from me!
I'm here to help you, but you can't kick it.
No, you're not! Stay the fuck away from me!
We're gonna get you in the back of the car here.
Yep. You need to do her legs if she's gonna keep kicking.
Alright.
You okay? Yeah, I'm good.
Now she's gonna hit her head on the frickin' window.
So she's
That's
in the
my
elevator.
prediction.
I just say hey. She's like, get the fuck away from me. So
She's not attacking friendly.
no. She tried running down.
I've never seen this girl before.
Older, middle-aged lady, brunette hair.
So I was on.
Don't open the door though.
When you said that, so it was timing out from my radio to turn on, I heard your tail end.
Oh.
Yeah. Most adult women
desensitized.
do act like they're 3
Oh,
when
shit.
they do
I tried to get out of the elevator back to the car.
Yeah. I just told her to stop. She tries taking off down the
narrators,
stairs. I grab onto
stop
her and
using
then
words
kind
where
of
they
fights
do
on
not
her.
fit. Decentralized does not
shit.
reach the vessel to the ground, you knucklehead.
Oh, that's I wish we could.
She had something in her pocket back there.
Hi, Al. Let's just load this
Hi,
shit
Al.
and search that jail. No sense to freeze your ass off out here.
I agree. It's time to go home anyways.
Yeah. So we'll wait on the jail staff thing, because maybe she'll chill out. I highly doubt it, but you'll see. And then we can just shove her in the back again and say, hey, they can come out and help.
Wait, what are they trying to do?
If she's not going to turn into anything. So I'll follow you over.
Alright.
I'm confused. What are they?
Pocket back there.
Oh, that's I wish we could.
She had something in her pocket back there.
Good enough. Holy shit. To the car.
Yeah. I just told her to stop. She tries taking off down the stairs. I grab onto her and then kind of the fight's on from there. So.
Good enough. Holy shit.
Yeah, you came through. You like sound panicked.
Oh, that's I wish we could.
She had something in her pocket back there.
Hi, Al. Let's just load this shit up. We'll search that jail. No sense to freeze your ass off out here.
I agree. It's time to go home anyways.
Yeah. Swoop, wait on the jail staff thing, because maybe she'll chill out. I highly doubt it, but you'll see. And then we can just shove her in the back again and say, hey, they can come out and help. I'm just not a big fan of calling for them if she's not going to turn into anything. So I'll follow you over.
Alright.
Fuck, it's cold. Yeah, it's cold. Oh, yeah, buddy.
You sound like you're a Canadian.
52 arrived at jail.
Has she said anything since she's been in there? Ma'am, we're gonna walk inside the Sally Port, okay? Is this something where we can just walk in together without you kicking or having any problems? Or do I need to bring jail staff out? Would you be willing just to walk with us in there and have a seat? You don't have to like us, that's fine. I'm not here to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. I just need to get you from the squad car inside the jail. Is that something you think you'd be cooperative with? No or yes? I don't want to hurt you. I don't even know who you are. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I get charged with any felonies. It's just a misdemeanor, okay? I don't want things to get worse. Would you just walk in with me nicely? We have to when you're in handcuffs.
Fuck, we have to.
Of course. Of course. We're gonna make this hard. We're gonna make this hard.
Hold on.
Of course we are. We're gonna kick and we're gonna fight.
It doesn't have to be like this, but you can't pull away and you can't kick at us, okay? If you're decent with them, that would be the best way to go.
Hold up.
Nope. Nope, you're not gonna be decent. You're gonna continue to play your impression of a savannah animal.
Okay. She kicks and wants to pull. Yeah, well.
Fucking let go, dude.
I can't let go of you because you're in handcuffs.
Fucking let go.
Okay. So are you going to be decent with them? I have no idea.
You guys know her.
I've not even seen her face. We got a call from a dispatcher that was coming to work. And she tried to attack him.
Put me in this chair. No, don't do it again. Don't. Alicia.
Oh my god.
Please don't.
I haven't seen her for a while. I didn't see her face in the parking area.
Please stop. Please stop putting me in the chair.
Now. Sit down. I'm pushing on you. My hands. Knock it off. Bitch.
Alicia, you been taking your meds?
I don't take meds at all.
Yeah, I've never seen her before.
She has not said anything.
Have you been taking your
meds? She tried to kick us. So
I don't take meds at all.
Dispatcher's going into work.
You should.
He says that
you should take meds,
like
dear.
near the elevator, she charges at him, and he's able to basically get away. He tries to get out with her, says stop. She tries to take off. He grabs her. She goes down to the floor, and then she starts ramming her head into the floor. I get there. She won't say shit. She just tries to kick us. Try to be nice, but that's all we've got. Hey, thank you, Denise. It's nice to see you.
Alicia was charged with misdemeanor counts of resisting obstructing an officer, disorderly conduct, and bail jumping. At the time of this incident, Alicia had 4 other active cases, which included charges such as taking a vehicle without consent, retail theft, fraudulent use of a credit card, and lewd and lascivious behavior. During March 2023, all 3 misdemeanor cases against her were dismissed. However, they were read in for consideration. In relation to her single felony case, she pleaded no contest and was subsequently convicted.
So that's our palate cleanser. So, tomorrow I'm going to be playing some MKX at the request of a viewer on TikTok. And so now we're going to go raid somebody. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys go check out Swoop's channel. I'm going to make sure that the VOD is published for everybody, and as I said, make sure you come by tomorrow for MKX. I know that I usually do game streams tonight, but I wanted to finish up the documentary, and I wanted to to get that finished. So we're gonna raid Justin Wong. That's who we're gonna raid. And hopefully he'll we're gonna raid Justin Wong. He's playing Street Fighter. So I hope you guys will go and check him out for a bit. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow for MKX. Have an awesome weekend. See ya tomorrow.